Hi, everyone. I'm John Kenlon, Senior Vice President at EnsembleIQ and publisher of Drugstore News. I'm here with Michael Abrams, Managing Partner at Numerof Associates, which focuses and advises on improving healthcare delivery. Welcome, Michael. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me, John.
By all means. So it's no secret retail pharmacy wants to be in the healthcare delivery business. So tell us, what's driving retail pharmacy to make these big investments in primary care? And what do you think some of their biggest challenges will be?
Well, I think we are seeing a confluence of probably a half a dozen different factors that are behind this big move into retail healthcare. Certainly the most obvious one is the appearance of a $3 trillion market whose customers are, for the most part, dissatisfied with the cost and the quality of what they get. That looks like opportunity to retailers who are looking for a way to expand and ensure their growth. So that's just out there, and that's natural. Mm-hmm. The pandemic had a lot to do with this. The pandemic lockdowns made a number of primary care and home health providers particularly receptive to acquisition because there was such a long period of time when they were pretty much precluded from doing business. And that weakened them financially, and now they are essentially on sale. Mm-hmm. I guess a third factor, and again, this is pandemic related, is at least for big payers, the pandemic left them with a cash windfall. And that is in some degree driving these acquisitions. The money that was earmarked for clinical utilization during the pandemic obviously didn't get spent, and the expected bounce back afterwards hasn't really materialized. And so you could say that money was burning a hole in their pocket, but there were good reasons for them to want to use it for acquisitions. Related to that, I guess, is retailers believe they can make money in this environment. They believe they can provide a customer experience that will be, by contrast to traditional providers, a better one. We'll have to see about that. The fifth idea that comes together here is that retailers see acquisitions in the healthcare space as investment in an asset that historically has been recession resistant. And with all the concern about where the economy is going, it makes sense to buy, so to sort of hedge your bets. I guess the last one that is relevant here is that we're talking about public companies, and as such, their share prices depend on maintaining long-term growth. Arguably, the chain store pharmacy is a mature business, and short of a radical reinvention, it'll offer stable but not significantly growing revenues. And so if you look at it in this context, the opportunity to capture a significant share of a growing market, especially when asset prices are depressed, sounds like a great idea. So yeah, those are the reasons. That's what's driving this whole thing.
I think you nailed it. And I've heard several retail pharmacy leaders make the comment that it's a slow growth business, and there are lots of challenges, whether it's reimbursements or whether it's the front end, or and the challenges the front end faces from e-commerce platforms or big box or whomever. Yeah. So yeah, you're a public company, you're expected to grow, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, the CEOs of these organizations know that driving a nice stable bus is not what makes them a superstar.
Yeah. Yeah, for a long time, I think they referred to Walgreens as the hedgehog, the hedgehog that knows one thing, and they did it really, really well. But now it's time to to do something else. So
That's right.
great. All right. So here's something that I think is interesting. I'd love your opinion on it. Dollar General. They've not been a player in pharmacy, but they're huge, 20,000 stores and growing. So they feature what's called the Well-Being Initiative. And it's in 3,200 stores. And they recently offered, what's called Doc Go. I think you're familiar with it, which is on-demand mobile primary care services. It's only in 3 Tennessee stores. But do you think DG will continue to invest in healthcare? This is kind of a long question. Will they continue to offer, to invest in healthcare offerings? What advantages does a DG have when it comes to delivering healthcare? And finally, can they compete with traditional retail pharmacies that have a big head start? Sorry for the long question.
No, that's fine. That's great. No, it's an intriguing situation. Perhaps some of that was pressure they felt looking around at their bigger competition and wondering, well, they're all doing it. Maybe I should try it too. But in answer to your question, will they continue in this space? I guess I would say no. I would be surprised if their very modest entry into this space, which consists mostly of stocking OTC cold meds and maybe a self-testing kiosk in some stores, and then this trial of 3 Doc Go mobile clinics that they spread across some number of locations each week. Mm-hmm. I just doubt whether that's going to be able to demonstrate an increase in traffic or in sales that is sufficient to reassure DG that it's a viable strategy. I think it's too little too late, and I think it'll probably die on the vine.
Yeah, interesting. All right, so switching gears here a second.
You wanted to know what advantages do they have? I mean,
it's the 20,000 locations, right? I mean, that's got to be.
Yeah, and I guess I would say they are the nearest source for certainly the food that they sell for the relatively rural locations that they're in.
Good point.
And so many of those locations are distant from more conventional healthcare providers and somewhat distant from the Walgreens, the Walmarts, and so on.
Yeah.
Another point in their favor is that shopping at Dollar General is, I think, for most families, part of their weekly routine. They're going to come there anyway. So whatever you are able to offer them when they show up, there's a chance that they will buy it. But
it would be a huge investment, I imagine, to try and get into that business.
Exactly, and that speaks to the competing with retail pharmacies, and especially given their head start. Dollar General, I understand, has been expanding at a rapid pace through the pandemic.
Yeah,
and I would imagine that's absorbing much of their capital. I would also assume that they're running on thinner margins than CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, if no other reason than because their stores serve a lower income market with less money to spend. So that kind of explains to me why they're exploring this healthcare delivery space in such a tentative way, with these 3 mobile clinics being trialed, standing in for their 3,200 stores. They don't offer prescription fulfillment.
Yeah.
They've only just begun to stock OTC products like cough syrups that conventional pharmacies and retailers have been stocking forever. There's a big gap to close in consumer learning and confidence building here, a gap that is currently being filled, if nominally, in some other way. So
there don't seem to be many places where retail pharmacy doesn't exist. You've probably heard that number that 92% of Americans will live within 5 miles of a retail pharmacy. So that need seems to already be met.
Yeah. So to the extent that they really need what a pharmacy sells, they're already filling that need some way. it may be a longer drive, but it's getting filled. And the question is, what does it take to re-educate consumers and change those habits?
Okay. So final question. We see insurance companies, retailers, primary care, clinic companies, all looking for the missing pieces and becoming acquisitive and going for this sort of vertical integration, which I think you've talked about in the past. So retail pharmacy is investing in primary care, virtual care, senior care, even insurance companies in the case of CVS, and those who don't own an insurance company are forming alliances. So would there be, first of all, what's your comment on that? And then is there an advantage? Is it possible that an insurance company might invest in a retail pharmacy to fill that gap?
That's an interesting question. Investing in outpatient healthcare delivery these days makes sense for several reasons. I think one is that most such investments are very likely to grow significantly over the next decade or more. The second point, I think, is it positions the insurance company to control the way that business is delivered. And that increased efficiency translates to lower utilization costs for the insurance company. And at the same time, profits that come from that line of business remain outside of MLR constraints on the insurance company's margins. So there are three good reasons for insurance companies to be investing in this space. On the other hand, an investment in a retail pharmacy, first of all, is not poised for the same robust growth as healthcare delivery. Retail pharmacy is already running on thin margins because of the other players that are part of the picture, PBMs in particular. And finally, since the margins are thin, the benefit of keeping those margins outside of MLR constraints means much less. So it's not nearly as attractive as a healthcare investment.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I didn't consider that. I was thinking more about the touch points, if you had 5,000 stores or something, but that would be an awful lot of money to pay for locations just so that you could get people in the door. So
yeah,
probably better ways of doing it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Michael Abrams, managing partner at Numerof Associates. Thank you so much for your time, and let's do it again. Okay.
That's great, John. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.